Welcome to Coffee, Calm and Connection Bite Size, where we deliver key takeaways from our full interviews on current topics from mental health experts.
When you're in a high pressured work scenario, and maybe along with some of the personal things that happens in everyone's lives, you've just explained some of them, what is it you do to bring yourself down, and does it always work?
Okay, so sometimes it doesn't always work, because sometimes I will sit there thinking about how I'm actually going to do something, and then I take so long to think about how I'm going to do it that I then convince myself that I'm not going to be able to do it. So sometimes I get to that point, and other times it's just a case of, I think, just walking away from it for a little while, taking a bit of a breather, maybe talking to someone else about the situation, and getting their idea or their view on it. I think that sometimes works for me. But I think, just the break in itself, I think if you just get that little break, 5 minutes away or whatever it is you need, that tends to kind of reset your mind. Or just have a coffee, that always seems to help the situation. I do like in a stressful situation, if you go for a walk, I always find that really helps, especially if I've got a treadmill, but that's just not the same effect. I think you've got to get out and get the fresh air and the sunlight on your face whenever it's out.
Well, yeah, we live in the wrong country for that. But yes,
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly agree. I think, and I'm trying to be really mindful of this, sometimes I can go out for the walk to take the break, but I spend the entire walk in my head.
Yeah.
And but recognizing that I'm doing that when you're so caught up in it in my head is sometimes a bit of a revelation. Like, oh, that's what people mean when they say do it mindfully. Stop being in your head and just have 5 minutes where you're sort of in your body. And I think that's quite a useful analogy for me, one that I use quite often.
See, I haven't mastered that yet. The thought of not thinking, if you see what I mean. Like, I'm trying better to be like that. I woke up at 4:15 this morning, and literally thoughts zooming around my head about stupid things, about what to cook for dinner. And I've got a holiday that's booked for June that I booked last year that I really don't want to go on because it's in Spain. And I just think, I don't feel comfortable going yet. And TUI are allowing us to change it for free, which is really nice. But then all the prices have gone up. And then you just think, when do I go? What do I do? So all these stupid things are going through my head. And I don't think I fell back to sleep until 6. And then my alarm went off at 7. So yeah, I'm still trying to master. But when I get like that, I try and just breathe in my mind. Like, I'm breathing and counting to like 5 in and 6 out and that kind of thing, and trying to do longer out breaths than in breaths. And that it does help sometimes. And then sometimes I kind of forget what I've been thinking about and kind of just calm. But sometimes it doesn't work. So yeah, I think I'm still on the journey.
I think so too, but I also think it's not about not thinking, it's about rediverting your thinking to something that you want to think about, that you want, that will be beneficial to think about. And I am a bit like you, so I get caught, I'll try and do some counting, and before I know it, I'm back on whatever's bothered me. Or if I focus really hard on my breathing when I'm really uptight, sometimes I end up hyperventilating and it makes the whole situation worse. But that's why I think walking's so good, because it's easier to be in your body and out of your mind, because you can do the 5 things you can hear, 4 things you can see, 3, that kind of game. And I often try to do which muscles are working as I'm walking. Like, can I feel the muscles in my feet working? Can I feel the muscles in my calves working? Which ones are tight? Which ones do I need to stretch? And then that goes into, I should be doing yoga every day. And oh my God, I'm a failure because I didn't, whatever. But there's always about 30 seconds where I'm like, okay, all right, that's fine. But at least I've stopped rumination 1 and I'm now onto something totally different. So sometimes I just find that distraction really helpful.